Hello friends, welcome to our channel Knowledge Amplifier, and in this particular video I am going to discuss one very important concept with respect to decision tree. Okay, so in my previous video I have shown you the MATLAB implementation as well as the actual intuition of the algorithm which works behind the classification tree and regression tree formation, right? Now let's try to recall the algorithm once. Okay, so same use case I have taken numbers of hours studied for a student and the student's midterm score. Based on that we need to classify whether a student will pass or fail in the final exam if this is classification problem, and if this is regression problem, what we can do, we can predict what can be students final exam marks based on the hours the student is studying and the midterm score. Okay, so two problems on same use case I have shown you and explained the algorithms, right? So suppose you recall the classification thing. So what is the first step? Consider all predictors and all possible cut point values, right? Like here we have only two features or predictors, input features. One is hours, another one is midterm score. We will consider both of them and all possible cut point values. Okay, suppose distinct values present in the hours column of our dataset are only these, and for midterm the distinct values are only these. Okay, so we'll try with all possible combination. So first our model will try with 5. Okay, hours equal to 5 suppose. So it will make a cut like this and it will try to take decision. Okay, if hours greater than 5, what will happen? If hours less than 5, what will happen? Okay, left hand and right hand side. So what our model does for classification problem, it basically for one region it assigns the main class as the mode of the training sets whatever present in that particular region. Okay, like here you can consider only one data point is present and suppose the label for the data point is fail. Okay, then as only one data point, so it is only going to be the mode. So for this region our model will consider all training sets as fail. Okay, in this side pass fail, so mode is pass. So in this side what our model will do, our model will think that all the training data present in this right hand side of this cut value should be pass. Okay, but if it consider all these as pass, there will be obviously misclassification will arise at this particular and at this particular training data. So misclassification, number of misclassification is 2. So number of misclassification by total number of data points in our training data set will give us misclassification rate or classification error rate. Okay, so now it will try all possible combination and calculate misclassification rate or classification error rate for all. Okay, and it will select that cut, that is that predictor and that particular cut point value for taking decision at that particular stage, which will give us minimum misclassification rate or minimum classification error rate. Okay, so like here I have told you for 5 this side is this side the mode is fail, this side the mode is pass, and based on that it will calculate misclassification rate. And like this for 6 greater than 7 less than 7 greater than 11 less than 11 greater than 14 less than 14 greater than 18 less than 18. Okay, greater than 35 lesser than 35 greater than 40 lesser than 40 for midterm score I am talking. Like this all possible combination it will try. Okay, so suppose after all this possible combination it finds that suppose midterm, based on midterm score, if we just consider this 42 value greater than 42 and less than 42, based on this if we divide our training data set into two parts, that time classification error rate is minimized. Okay, so as it follows greedy approach, it will not consider what will happen in future. For that time being it will consider this as decision, and based on midterm score as 42 it will divide our data into two parts. So this is how classification goes. Now just recall the same thing with respect to regression point of view. What will happen in regression? In regression it will consider all predictors and all possible cut point values, but suppose consider any cut combination. Okay, suppose this cut it is present. Now how it will calculate the error which has to be minimized? See, for in this when it is giving one cut here, it is basically dividing the whole data set into upper and lower part. Now in the upper part, for all the training data we know what is the final exam score for these students, right? We will take average of that, right? and for the lower part data also we know what is the final exam score for these 3 students. So we'll take average of that final exam score, and then what we'll do, that is our model's prediction, and we know the actual value for these data points as these are training data, so we know the actual value of the final exam score also. So we'll subtract the mean, okay, for each region from the original value and square them, okay, and add them. This is called residual sum of square, and it will do for all predictors for all possible cut points, and for which we will be getting minimum RSS, that is minimum residual sum of square. That one it is going to choose for taking decision, and at that particular stage, based on that particular feature and cut point value, it is going to divide our data set into 2 parts for binary decision tree. Okay, so this is how it goes. Now here is the fundamental idea which I want to highlight is present. So prediction technique in classification is mode, but prediction technique for regression tree is mean. And many times I have told in my previous video that mean is highly affected by outliers, but mode and median are not that much affected by outliers, right? So remember this, although our decision tree algorithm is robust to outliers, many times it is written, you should understand that time we are talking about classification tree, not for regression tree, because for regression tree prediction technique is mean, and mean is affected by outlier. So if you are forming regression tree and you want that your model's accuracy will increase, that time you should handle your outlier, either remove that or handle that using many ways which I have discussed in data pre-processing, right? So regression tree is affected by outlier, it is not robust to outlier, but classification tree is robust to outlier because its prediction method is mode, which is not going to be affected by our outlier. Okay, so this is the conclusion. Whenever we say decision tree are robust to outlier, remember this, we are talking about classification tree. Regression tree split criteria depends on averages of 2 groups that are splitted, and as the average is severely affected by outliers. I have shown you, okay, suppose 1, 2, 3 data point and one more data point 100, then see what is going to be average. Average will far away from all the data points, it will be very high compared to 1, 2, 3 data and very low compared to 100. So a single outlier highly affect the average, okay, then regression tree will suffer from outlier, but not classification tree, because it consider the maximum frequency, and that time outlier, as outlier is very lesser amount generally present in our data set, so it will not affect that much. Okay, so remember this point, although classification tree is robust to outliers, but regression tree is affected by outliers, so we need to handle that or else remove that. Okay, this is what I wanted to discuss. This is all for this video. Thank you for watching.